Hi, how
Hey,
are
how
you
are you?
doing? Yeah, I'm good, cheers. Yeah, I just got this new tripod, right? So, like, it's a lot easier anyway. That's some
Okay.
fun there.
Speaking of tripods, that's what I'm messing with right now. There we
Yeah,
go.
I've got a light on this one, but I don't know if it's any better, right?
There
A
we
bit
go.
terrible. I need it off then.
All right. Well, hello everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to today's Sunday live chat. As you can see, we have a special guest today. We have Liesel here with us. So to start off, if you don't know who I am, I'm Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. All of my information is down below. And I will post all of Liesel's information. But Liesel, if you want to let us know, where can people find you? What are some goodies that you've been up to? Like, what's shaking, girl?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, you can find me mainly on YouTube or Instagram. On YouTube, it's Liesel Cigar Box Guitar. I make these wonderful cigar box instruments. There's just one of them.
That is so cool.
um, Yeah, and staying, I think it's Liesel9272 on Instagram, if I can remember right. So that's basically where you can find me anyway.
All right, cool, cool. It looks like we have some homies coming on in. As you can see, I'm trying something new. YouTube offered me the option to try out. It's called YouTube Together. Whereas, normally I use StreamYard and a lot of people use other platforms to have guests on. So, trying this out. We'll see how it goes. All right. So, it looks like we have some people in here. Susie, hey, how are
It's
you? Long hair, skinny eye toe is here. Diamond is here. Edgar, what's up? Susie says, I will get your link and post it. Excellent.
cool, cool.
And Diamond was saying, well, hello, all. Long time. Aurora says, Merry meet, Tara and Liesel. All right. Well, hello. Happy Sunday. I have a few decks here with me today. We're going to be slanging some cards, but mostly, I like the laid back, let's just chill, whatever, comes up. Maybe share some stuff from the past week, stuff that's going on in our lives, maybe. And I also brought this little book here. It's my like every day you like answer a question that it has, and you answer the same question. As it comes around every year. So there's like 365 questions, and then you come back around year after year and see how your questions, or sorry, your answers have changed. So, I thought maybe I'll share this with you guys today. Um, but yeah, Liesel, since you're here, so what is going on lately? Like, you could talk about the energies or just interesting things happening in your life.
Yeah, oh well, yeah, I think the energies are certainly crazy, and I think especially relating to my astrology at the moment, there's been an awful lot going on. I've got Kathy Sun, but everything else more or less, right, that's up front is in Cancer. So like, and
Mm,
so I'm quite heavily affected by moon energies as well, like at the best of times, or at least that's what I would say. So that's been pretty crazy.
mhm,
Yeah, I've been splitting my time. I've been building these instruments as usual. I had quite a run on these lately, so I've also mixed that up a bit with doing a bit of sort of more traditional artwork and just going about doing daily stuff as well. Really. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, so
Oh,
yeah, it's been crazy.
yeah, it's just kind of when I hear from friends and family and just kind of what's going on in my own life, it seems like everybody's going through these big shifts and changes, but also like a lot in the outside, the 3D world seems to be, I don't know, malfunctioning or shifting and changing as
Yeah,
well.
I know exactly what you're saying because like when I go to bed at night, it feels like I'm zooming in and out through so many different realms. It's like I get up in the morning to have a rest. Do you know what I mean? Only,
Oh,
yeah, you see everything falling apart on this sort of more hologram side of things.
yeah. Well,
And I
that
think,
and electronics, electronics
yeah,
have been going haywire. So that's So I'm like, I put all the good juju into this live chat,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
And people have been talking about animals. They noticed that animals been behaving strangely or out of character lately. Like people's dogs, a lot of people have been mentioning, like, yeah, my dogs. A lot of dogs are just waiting at the door, like now, not
Wow.
like for their owner to come home, but some dogs are just sitting at the door like they're waiting for something, And
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know what you're saying. It's here, it's more cats. But I see lots of cats congregating, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. And they seem to all be out at the same time, which is pretty strange. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but there's like all those little birdie noises. Those are actually our hummingbirds.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
unknowingly started a hummingbird war, I think. I don't know. It's just-
Yeah.
so
I
I
know what
put out
you're saying.
yeah, I put out a feeder for them, and all these hummingbirds came, and it's like these green hummingbirds versus these orange hummingbirds. The orange hummingbirds are very aggressive, so they keep shooing the green ones away so they can have the feeder all to themselves. So then I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'll put up a second feeder. So I put up another feeder over here, and now there's one sentinel that's guarding that feeder. And then there's like a
Yeah.
battle of like 10 hummingbirds over here where they're all like, ah, like dive
Oh,
bombing. It's
wow.
like, I don't know, World War III in the skies over here.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Believe it or not, I mean, we're totally landlocked, but we've got loads of like seagulls. I think they come in land these days for the fast food, you know. But it's the same when they're fighting with the crows and stuff, you know, it's really weird.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm trying to like feed you guys and bring peace. Please don't like fight each other. I didn't mean to start a war. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no, they get really territorial sometimes, don't they? Around feeding places, especially, I think.
Let's see. We have a few
Wow,
people
lots
who
of people
still coming
commenting.
on in. Oh, Susie posted your YouTube link, so you guys
Oh,
definitely
cool,
go check
thank you.
that out. Aurora says she has the dark goddess and secret language of color today. Kayla is here. Hey, hey, how are you, girl? Aurora says, I've been enjoying your music videos, Lisa.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks. Yeah, more on the way. It's just trying to set up so many different instruments, and there's always something goes wrong with at least one of them. The behind the
Well,
scenes stuff, you know.
it just means that you get to maybe tweak it even more, make it even more unique and, special to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, that's it. They're a constant sort of like re-upgrading and like stuff like that. Yeah, they don't stay static for very long.
Well, that's kind of like what I noticed with like some of my bracelets and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I I'd made a bunch of
they're
bracelets, but
lovely.
moving from the different altitudes, like, and
Oh
the weather
yeah,
extreme hot and cold, the elastic on them started to break. But then I was like, well, this is cool because now I get to make whole new bracelets, you know,
yeah,
like not
yeah,
done with the
absolutely.
style.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, got a tiny
Let's
one here.
see. Diamond said she had a question. Oh, yeah, you know what? We are gonna definitely do super chats and super stickers. So I forgot to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. We will do super chats and super stickers for people that would like cards drawn specifically for them. Of course, we are going to draw cards for the week, so we will do that, or maybe
Yeah,
just chat messages. We'll see how it goes.
I've got a whole
Um,
lot here.
let's see. And let me just go through here. Edgar says, "So glad we're not all on mic. Haven't slept and I fell asleep. You'd hear me snoring." Nice.
Yeah, I've been the same actually. I've not really slept in about 2 nights, and it's been unusually hot here, like really humid. You know, like clammy as you say,
Mhm.
right? And yeah,
I had a little bit of trouble sleeping last night. I don't know. I've been going through bouts of like waking up
yeah,
really early in the morning, like 1:30 or so, like going to the
yeah,
restroom, coming back. Like I have a hard time falling back asleep, which is not normal for me. Normally, I'm dead to the world as soon as I
yeah,
close my eyes. Um,
yeah. Me too. Yeah, I was sort of falling asleep at 9 and then waking up at 3 in the morning. And like, it's still dark here till 6 a.m. and just sat there.
Have you been having like weird dreams lately or no?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I say I get up in the morning for a rest. The
Uh-huh.
activity seems more in the dream realm, right, than it does in the waking one.
Well,
It's crazy.
I don't know. I was having weird like my dreams were trying to be nightmares last night and I kept trying to like it was a
Oh,
battle to like bring them back to not being nightmares. Like I was like trying to fight it back and forth like no, I don't want to go down like this is a nightmare. I don't want to have this. So I'm like I'm going to do this over here and it's like no, no, no. I want to be a nightmare. And I'm like no, I don't want a nightmare. like
yeah, yeah. I know what you're saying. Mine felt like traveling between different realms, and I was trying to dodge them by sort of taking the sides. This was
well, we
last night
had
anyway.
well, actually we had last or this past Monday, we hit James and I did a channeling video on the dream time. So our dreams. So if you guys are
Oh,
interested, definitely go
yeah,
check it out. But I still have
yeah,
more questions.
yeah,
What do
yeah,
you think?
sure. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Oh, yeah, I will check that out. Yeah, I've been trying to catch up with things this week.
Yeah, it's been a little busy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Let's see.
Mm.
I got some more comments here. Do do do. Kayla says, I love Tara and Liesel's backgrounds together. So pretty.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
see.
you.
Um, let's see. Edgar says there's been a lot of sightings in the skies.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me either. Yeah. I mean, there've been crazy weather events, haven't there, and everything, or so they've been reporting.
Hmm.
And I do wonder if that's to do with planetary stuff, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of discussion
That's
about
it.
what
That's it.
is.
That's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Imagine, yeah, the vocabulary. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think that we just have? Is it like fake stuff going on in the sky? Do you think we really do have stuff going on in the sky? Like, what is your intuition been saying with
Yeah,
all these things?
I've thought for some time actually that this would be the latest thing that certain interests would fake, if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not saying there's nothing behind it though. There might be something even more out of this worldly, I guess, behind the whole
Mhm.
thing. But it just seems to my mind, it just seems to have followed a pattern of a lot of other things that have been going on in the world that have all kind of put people at a certain unease, may I say.
Well, yeah, I think it's interesting because like before like let's say because there's a lot going on in the skies actually, I mean, besides the whole some
Yeah.
people are like is it aliens, is it fake aliens, so like going down that topic, before it was like if people talked about aliens at all you were the tinfoil hat brigade, and you
Oh
were
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
conspiracy theorists. There's no such thing as aliens, and now with people coming out and saying, "Oh, there's stuff in the sky, whether or not that's man-made or not." Now it's like these discussions, and it's like it's okay to have these discussions, whereas before people would have just been, "No, you're just crazier." But since like the news said so, then it's like, okay, well, I believe that now.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
now
I know what you're
belief.
saying.
It's just
Definitely.
so it's so weird. And um I put a poll on my like YouTube channel page for what you guys wanted me to channel next, and it looks like it's going to be a situation, or a current
Okay.
event.
Yeah,
So we've done that video, and that will get
excellent.
posted tomorrow. Um, but just I won't tell you any specifics on it. Just what it's about. It's about the Lahaina tragedy incident that
Okay.
is going on in Maui, Hawaii.
Yeah.
So definitely
Yeah.
tap into that one. I always encourage people with like these channeling
Yeah.
videos, like use your own intuition. I'm definitely, not on here telling people like this is how it
Oh,
is, this
yeah.
is the truth, like this is just what my higher self said. Like, what did your higher self say?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. These things are multidimensional, you know? Yeah.
Mhm. And that's why, and it's just interesting to me when some people are like, but that's not what is our governments are saying, or that's not what the news is saying. And, and our whole thing is like go beyond that because people have agendas, whether it's a power
Yeah.
agenda, it's a money agenda, it's a control agenda, wherever there are people in a, I don't know, upper position, they're going to want
Yeah.
something out of the information that they relay to people that they see beneath them. So, like, that's why I'm like, go inwards, go inwards. Like, what is your higher self telling you, regardless of, you know, what the news said or even your best friend said?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Because, everything outside is so sort of like unbelievable, whether it's true or not these days, that I think you do need to go in really just to get some kind of authentic vibe on anything, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I Susie was saying sending prayers and love to Hawaii and Jonathan Daly and Betsy Palmer who live there and are in this community. So yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I want to say with the channeling too. The channeling is not to that we're going to be putting out tomorrow is not to say that there wasn't a tragedy that happened, that there weren't people that lost their lives, that there weren't people who lost
Yeah.
their whole livelihoods. I mean, I can't imagine that at all. To
Yeah.
have nothing left, your homes, your businesses, your mode of transportation, the
Yeah.
area in which you live where there was so much history, and
Yeah.
so that's
Sure.
like, with these things, when emotions are running high, that's especially when we need to go in because we're looking for answers. We want to know, why did this happen? Who did this? Or what did this? Was this an accident? Was it intentional? And if the only thing we hear is from outside of us,
Mm,
it
mm.
could be the truth, it could not be the truth. But the only place where we know that truth to our higher selves is going inwards, while at the same
Mm.
time sending love and healing to the land there, the people there,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
all of that, being very respectful of that, but at the same time go inwards and see how you can help them energetically as well, and
Yeah.
gather
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, I think, well, I had to watch the channeling back because I remembered nothing. As soon as finished the channeling, I was like, I started to remember it, and then it was like a dream. It was gone. I was
Yes.
like,
I know what you mean. I
ah.
get that myself quite often. I think it's in my case. I think my ego can't handle it, so it has to go somewhere else into a higher self position or something like that with me.
Oh, yeah, I want to ask you about that. So like when you're channeling, like how do you feel the ego is? Like where is it? Does it ever try to like jump in? Like how do you keep it at bay from
Yeah.
like
Um, it's quite simple how I do it actually. Like I asked the channel that. It sounds poetic, but I think it works. I say, put it in my heart because my head's a dummy, right? Because my ego will
Mhm.
be suggesting the next move. Almost like a chess
Mhm.
game. Oh, it means this, it means that, it means everything, and trying to interpret it all at
Mhm.
once. But like you say, I think then, like, if it's kind of so, well, yeah, if it goes to my heart, then that's a deeper seat of wisdom, and that's when I can process it later on. Things tend to
Mhm.
like pop into my mind, even if they're images and stuff like that. Might not be
Mhm.
as vivid as when I first channeled it, but generally it is, and like, yeah, so that's kind of I try and sort it out that way. Yeah, without trying
Okay.
to second guess myself. Yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying with the when the ego is like trying to process like what is coming through, and it is like a chess game because I'll be channeling something, information's coming through, and it's like my brain is going, okay, well, how would wait, what did I just say? Wait, how does this make sense? Wait, so if that's that, then maybe, it's like trying to figure out, well, what would we say next? Or like, and it
Yeah,
has no answer. So it gets confused because it has no idea like where all this information's coming from. So it's just like,
yeah. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Because it's not a linear thing, is it? Sometimes it can feel like it's coming at you in all directions, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, "Wait, what is happening? Wait, where am I anyway? Like, where am I really?" Like,
Yes, yes, I know what you're saying there. Yeah,
because sometimes the high or the ego feels like it's right there, and it's trying to butt
yeah,
in every 2 seconds, so every 2 seconds, like, it's like, "Be quiet, here's some information. Okay, be quiet again, here's some information," I keep shoving it away. Other times, it feels like I'm watching myself, and I'm totally somewhere else, and I'm just like, whoa, what is happening? What is being said right now?
yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, because I've experienced that where, like, either I can sort of see myself like I'm stood to the side of something, or where I can't, whereas it's actually literally
Mhm,
emanating from me or something like that. And
mhm.
yeah, again, and you've got to check all this, haven't you? While things are channeling in, like, and keeping yourself grounded, yeah, and everything else.
Yeah, dude, yeah,
Yeah,
if those I don't know how many of you guys, in the chat, have tried channeling or, do that where basically you're just connecting to the higher self and you're just allowing the information to come straight through unfiltered by the ego and channeling is something that I think we do sometimes subconsciously. Sometimes people
yeah,
channel a beautiful painting, and
absolutely.
whatever through their higher self is in the paints and the colors. Sometimes people channel through their music. Some people call themselves channelers, like myself,
Yeah,
and say, and we contact, energies. Sometimes people channel tarot readers. They're
yeah,
pulling out the cards. They're using their intuition. They're basically channeling that information that they're
yeah,
receiving. So there's different ways to do it, but definitely, like Liesel said, grounding is so 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 important
yeah,
because yeah, it's easy to I don't know, like after, like if I'm not grounded during a channeling, I get like so all over the place, and then afterwards,
yeah,
I don't know, I can't think straight, I can't walk straight.
yeah.
Like
I know.
everything is just
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've been like that. But yeah, because it almost topple sideways or something when I try and stand up. I think people must think I'm mad, if they could see me, that is.
oh, I was just looking, and I'm sorry you guys, I can't keep up with your comments there. You have a bunch of lovely comments, so I do encourage
Thank you.
people that
Yeah,
are watching the replay to definitely look at the chat because that's where a wealth of information is coming from, as well as our beautiful friend Lisa, who is here with us
thank
today.
you.
But see, Edgar said, "How do you not fight channeling? I have a problem with that. Could I just be trying too hard?" So, what do you think, Lisa? So I
Um,
think he's trying to say like it's too much of
yeah,
a fight, maybe between his higher self and his ego.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I've been doing it since I was quite young, right? So, like, I suppose I've just got to. But yeah, I think it is. I think it really is about trying to just sort of clear yourself, isn't it? And so, I would say, yeah, probably do a good meditation first. Set an intention, right, that you want to channel. Maybe then do like quite a deep meditation or something like that. Um, and just try it because I know I kind of like I feel pretty out of body when I do it. I know not everyone does, but I think I kind of almost occupy a different zone or a different realm, and I think
Hmm.
meditation is probably the best way into doing something like that. And just let it come. Yeah, like sort of try and don't second guess yourself with it. I think when you're least expecting it is probably when it'll start streaming through, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And then you're washing the car or something, and then be like, "Dude."
I know, right? You're just, like, in the kitchen making a PB&J, and you're like, "Whoa." Like,
Yeah, that's it, that's it. It'd be like
I
that,
just
won't
got
it?
a
Like,
download on my life purpose.
you got visitors, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Not now."
Well, yeah, last night when I a hard time going back to sleep, I'm
Oh,
like, "Okay, I'm trying to, let myself go back to sleep," and all of a sudden, my 4th grade teacher popped in, who's, he's long been passed away, and
yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh,
"What
wow,
are you
yeah.
doing here?" I don't know, I'm trying to go to sleep, sir. Like,
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean, yeah. I've had very similar things myself that, yeah, people we knew years ago or whatever, and, like, now they're in spirit and, like, they're just popping in. It's like they're
mhm,
just hanging around or lurking or something. Well, I'm
yeah.
going to bed, right?
It's like he was just hanging in the background. He's like, "Oh, well, you appear to be awake. Hey, you want to have a little chit chat?" I'm like, I don't know. It's probably like 2 in the morning. I want to go to bed. Mr. Bryant, please leave me alone."
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree with you. Like meditation, I think is uh, just, in my opinion as well, one of the best ways to truly connect to your higher self and have a space where the ego can take a break for a little bit. It can go on siesta, there's no
Yeah,
pressure. So just you and your higher self having a little conversation. And I think the more you do that, the more comfortable you get with the voice of your higher self and the energy of your higher self. And it
yeah,
starts to
that's
become,
true.
yeah, distinguished from your ego. So when you do set the intention, like Liesl said, to channel, okay, I'm channeling now, and you start getting information, is it coming from the energy and the voice that you know to be your higher self, or is that the ego? Because now you have a pretty good feel for the two of them. So if it is the ego, then it's like, okay. And like Lisa was saying, a lot of it is actually trust. Like I have to just kind of go with it and trust it. And the more you do that, I think the more clear and the more loud that higher self voice is. At least
Yeah,
that's, how I've known it to be.
yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that as well, It's like that. When it's the ego, it's sort of with me anyway, it sort of it gets rolling a bit. And then there might be some
Mhm.
second guessing. I call that my translator, I say, no, that's not translator. That's not actually what my higher self is trying to tune in, right?
Yeah, dude, like sometimes my ego is trying to sound like my higher self, and it's like
Yes,
the silliest, most like ridiculous. Like it's like, okay, I'm dropping into channel. My higher self is like getting ready to say something, and the ego's like, wait, what would sound really cool and spiritual right now? I'm like, what the heck? Like, go
uh,
away. Nobody asked
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mine's the same. It'd be, oh yeah, but that's this and that's that, and it's this and that. No, just be quiet. Like the higher self would just kind of put this message over in a clear sort of. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, but the ego would be much more suggestive of things that it feels
Mhm.
it could be happening. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah. Um, along the lines of channeling, have you um gotten to a point, or have you done it often, where you can remove the ego so much in such a way that you actually allow the energy in so that they can use your voice to speak and use your body, so to speak? And how do you,
yeah,
if you do that, how do you butt it out when it's time for it to butt out, and not allow it to just like fully just take
yeah.
control, like leave mine now.
Okay, yeah, I have done that, yeah, and I've in photos, I would say, right? I've
Mhm.
generally though, I've only done it really with saints and
Yeah.
and folk saints and that sort of thing. I find that they are quite polite, and generally, when you say you've had enough, then they'll accept that you've had enough. Do you know what I mean? I've had one
Mhm.
or two things getting though, like especially in my earlier days, that I then had to try and clear out of there I just tend to like go straight to the divine then. If it's a bit, if it's getting out of my league, the divine sentient creation or whatever, the whole thing. Yeah, but yeah, these days I'm kind of yeah,
Yeah,
a lot more
yeah,
like
yeah, let's see. Well, when I'm, you're saying you mostly like to let in saints. I think for me, if I'm comfortable with the energy, I let it in.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever had an energy that I haven't either consciously or subconsciously said, okay, come on in. I don't think
yeah,
there's anything that's violated my free will, you know. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You reminded me of a couple of things like that, really. Once I let one in, and it was a child, right, in spirit. But
mhm,
to her, it was all she wanted to do was dance. So I allowed her
mhm,
in to dance, and then when we danced, I said, "Okay, now I'm tired. I've got to sit down." But it
mhm.
was almost like a birthday sort of atmosphere or something. I felt quite cool with that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
quite strange actually because I did feel very young. I did feel like I think this child was probably around in the 1950s. And I mean, I wasn't around in the 1950s, but there was definitely a vibe of that kind of time. Like, have you seen
Mhm.
old movies from then or something, or like something similar, or even in an old car or something? Kind of that
Yeah.
vibe came with her, right? Yeah, so I'd forgotten that really. It's quite a while ago.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to like remember back to when I was a kid because there was something I used to do when I was, just hanging out with my friends, and I would be talking
yeah,
about another, like let's say, I don't know, my friend was sad about something or something happened. Everybody was trying to figure out, how little kids gossip, little bunch of
yeah, of
chismos,
course.
like they're all like, oh, I wonder, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of this, and I would I would think that I'm making things up, and I would say, "Well, maybe it was like this, like, I'm just gonna do a make-believe scenario," and I don't even know how I did it as a kid, but it was like I felt like I was my friend, and I would go
Oh,
into this
yeah,
thing of, like, yeah. Where I
yeah.
go into this thing like, they're going through this, because this, and it would just come out so fast,
Wow,
and it
yeah,
would feel like I was in a trance, and I'd be so dizzy, and afterwards, I'd be done, and I'd start laughing because I was like, well, maybe I was just being silly. I don't really know where all that stuff came from, but I thought, wow, I must have like a really good imagination, and then my friends would
yeah,
be like, oh, wow, that's interesting because a lot of that's true. And then they would talk to my friend would be like, how did you know all that stuff about me? And I was like, oh no, I
yeah.
was just, I was just making it up. I was just having fun, because I didn't know what the heck channeling was. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I thought I was making up something about my friend, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, I remember I did some work, right? Well, quite a lot actually, like passing spirits over, right? That didn't want to leave the
Mhm,
earth. And I remember one woman, her name was Harriet. She told me, right? She'd obviously passed quite recently, and I was
mhm,
kind of with her, and I was like, "Why is it you don't want to pass over and all this?" And it's the funniest thing, really. She said she didn't want to be met by any of her relatives on the other side. She wanted to be met by her dog. So I said, "Well, just
oh,
call the dog." And she did call the dog, and then that was it. She kind of left this earth, if you know what I mean.
mhm.
That was quite bizarre, but it made me laugh. I think there might probably quite a lot of people who would rather see their dog in spirit first, than the kind of
Yeah.
relatives.
Yeah, I would notice that like sometimes some spirits that I would come across, they say, like, "Oh, I want to do this," or they want help with something. And it's like, but they don't have a body anymore, which means they have
Yeah,
more access to things than I would do because right now I'm stuck in a vessel. I'm not that I can't
yeah,
astral travel, do all these things, but sometimes
yeah,
I think that when we cross over, if pieces of our 3D existence cross over with us, we still think that we're confined to this plane and the I don't know, the physics of this plane.
Yeah,
And sometimes to remind them, oh, hey, you're a full energy right now. You can just go do this. And they're like, oh yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I agree with you totally. Yeah, because they do seem to retain a certain amount of the humanness, in the
Hmm.
spirit. Whereas I think maybe when we or whoever is ascended a lot higher, then there's a lot less of that, and like, as you know, like things become a bit more unity or oneness. I think eventually perhaps we get
Hmm.
to that one great big thing after many, many ascensions, but I don't know, you know what I mean? It's my theory.
Yeah. Was the thing I learned from the Kurt Cobain channeling that we did. We
Yeah,
were speaking to, I think it was a mix of his higher self and his ego self, but he was fully aware that a piece of him had stayed behind, to just kind of
yeah,
intermingle with like the earthly realm, whereas the rest of him was already somewhere else. And so, but it was his choice. Like he's like, yeah, I know I'm here, but I choose to be here. He says, and I could go connect with myself, the rest of myself at any time. And I was like, well,
oh,
I find
great,
that
yeah.
fascinating,
Yeah, me
like,
too, yeah. And I've heard very similar as well, like a lot of people have attested to that, like that they've channeled
mhm,
someone, but there's still part of that person here, or like different parts ascend at different times. I know that
mhm.
there's a lot of old Celtic belief around that, I think, but it's quite complicated. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to sort of tell you myself, right?
Well, let's see. Let me ask you this. Have you ever connected with or run into a spirit that was a former version of you?
Um, that's interesting. I mean, I think yes, probably. I think
Hmm.
probably so. Yeah, definitely, and certainly like with past life regressions and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I do. Yeah, I have done. I have done. Yes, actually, when I was a kid. Yeah, and that was constant. Yeah,
Yeah, that's something that when I got to a certain point, I had to like kind of wrap my head around. It was like, sometimes the spirits that would interact with there, I mean, technically in the grand scheme of things, we're all one. So all the spirits are us, you're me,
exactly.
but in this energetic signature that I have, since energy is, you don't have to confine it into one space. Like part of my energy is in this
Yeah,
vessel, part of my energy is in all of my past lives, part of my energy is in all my future lives, and part of my energy is also in spirits that I encounter. Where it's like
yeah,
sometimes you encounter yourself as someone else, but it was you or it is you. So I don't know, it's fascinating.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have done definitely, and I agree as well because time isn't linear. Like everything's one moment. But yeah,
Hmm.
everything's a facet at that moment, and I did run into like a previous self. I channeled a sketch of her actually. Do you want to see it?
Yes, yes,
I can grab
please.
it for you if you like. Right. This is her name's Constance, right? And she was around in the Edwardian days. So I don't know if you can see. There you go. Obviously, a lot of years later, I channeled this sketch of her, but like
Okay.
she ran through my mother's bedroom when I was a kid, and like she shouldn't
Beautiful.
have been in there, but neither should have I. And I called her the girl upstairs because I thought she's got to be from somewhere higher up. We lived in a one-level building back then, but like she was the girl upstairs until years later I got her name and it was constant.
Wow. That is so cool. That is so cool. My um speaking of like running into, I guess maybe other versions of ourselves, um something actually happened recently.
Oh
Recently
wow.
here at the Dwarf Forest, aka the Cauldron. Um James and I were sitting by the RV, and which is right next to our cabin, and we hear a huge thump in the cabin, like something fell from one
Wow.
of the shelves or something. And then it sounded
Yeah.
like James here. He heard the sounding like something fell, but he didn't hear the next part, which is the part that I heard. I heard somebody at the door, and then I heard
Wow.
somebody standing on the porch.
Yeah.
Which if there was somebody standing there, I would have seen it because we had full view of the porch and everything. So I
Wow.
went inside. I didn't see that anything had fallen over, at least to make that big of a noise, because that's where all our shop stuff is for like Desert Cauldron and all of that. And I was like, hmm.
Yeah.
So James is like, pull a card, time to tap in. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get in, I tap in, and I'm using this deck here. I was using the Kitsch
Oh.
Lenormand.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
yeah, dude, I love this one. So I
I've
pull
never
some
seen
cards.
one. Oh,
Yeah, let me show you. Like here's
I love that. Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
yeah, I knew this would be up your alley. I dig this deck
Yeah,
so
them
much.
ones as well. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. That's fun. Oh, I love the artwork on that. It's just, it
This
is
one
right up my
I think
street.
is on I think it's on Etsy. I think that's where I got it from.
Okay. Oh, brilliant.
Uh, okay, but yeah, it's called, for those of you, Kitsch, Kitsch
Pitch.
Lenormand.
Brilliant. I'm gonna check
Okay,
that out
so
definitely.
I'm pulling some cards, and it says that the person who made the noise was me. That I was in the cabin, and I had and I was like, okay, wait, okay. I was like, is this have we jumped timelines? Are we in a different timeline? So I'm going into it, and it is a different timeline version of me. Um, Doing up our packages that we were doing for Desert Cauldron at a different time, where in that timeline I did drop something, where in the timeline I was
Yeah,
experiencing I didn't drop anything, before I exited the cabin. So it was just another version
I
of myself.
understand.
It was saying that myself had called in myself to show myself
Oh,
that
right, yeah.
yeah, that I could affect all other timelines. So it's showing that I could hear something and I could affect the 3D plane in this timeline from a different, thing. So it's like
Yeah,
whatever you do in this timeline really does affect all of other timelines. It was just a reminder of that. And I was like, okay. So then I'm just shuffling as I do, and I'm
yeah,
sitting there. James is like, okay, okay. So he stands up and he says, well, why don't you oh wait, before he says that, he's like, oh man, we have clouds today. We're thinking of our solar. And a card
yeah.
flies out. I don't know if I could pull it up fast enough, but let's see, where is it? No, I can't. Oh, the clouds card flies out
Oh,
right
wow.
when he's talking about clouds. And I was like,
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
hey. And so then
yeah,
he says, maybe we should start planning stuff, continuing to plan stuff for the garden. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And so again, I'm shuffling and I'm thinking about the garden, and what we have to do. And then let's see here, let me see if I can find it. There it is. So then the next card to fly out was the garden.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
yeah, as I'm thinking about the
Yeah.
garden, I was like, what? And I'm telling
Excuse
James,
me.
and he's like, okay, so the next thing you're gonna find is the winning lottery numbers, right? I was
Yeah,
like,
that's it, isn't
and
it?
so I was like, yeah, right. I was like, watch, I find the winning lottery numbers right when money doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's it. It'll jump timelines and it'll have gone to a different currency or something.
Yeah, I
That'd
was
be
like,
me, that
wouldn't
would.
that just be the thing? And he's like, careful what you manifest. And as he walks
That's
away,
true.
two cards fly out of my hands. And let's see if I can find those for you guys. Okay, so it's that one, and then it's uh it was just like so wild. I was like, I'm telling
Yeah,
everybody. Um,
I know what you're saying though.
oh, so woodpecker going on out there. Oh, there it
Oh,
is. So then the two cards fly out, and it's these two cards. So it's
oh,
the whip
wow.
and the
Yeah,
but guess what he went
cool.
off to go do? Not to go whip anything, but he went to go start shoveling a little trench that we're making to kind of direct water. So he's off to go do a repetitive activity, which is what the whip stands for. It's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
man is going, and I'm like, what is happening? But
Oh,
yeah, stuff like that has been happening lately, where it's like I don't know. I don't even know, like, it, like, yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, the cards. have been so on point, or I know it's not really cards, it's my own energy trying to get me to notice something. But like
Yeah.
yesterday we're walking through a parking lot. We went into town and I looked down and there's a big ass raven feather on the ground. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
a sign. Just like one step past the raven feather is an ace of hearts playing card is on the ground.
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
the heck? And I was
That
like, I've
is
heard of
strange.
like signs before, but this is like slapping me in the face, like, hello, girl, wake up.
Yeah, I know what you're saying because I found playing cards up the road here the other day, and I think it
Hmm.
was it was something two spades cards. I can't remember what they were, but when you just see them randomly laying there on the street, you think, wow, yeah,
Oh,
definitely,
that and oh, I went to go get gas. And earlier in the
mm,
day, I kept talking about how the number 4 is my lucky number, which, oh, hey, by the way, today is a number 4 day in mine astrology. Just FYI.
cool.
So I was like, I love the number 4. I love fours. Let's get 4 pieces of
Yeah,
wood because I want to make shelves for the cabin. And I go to get gas, and it's $40 even. It just stops itself at
wow,
4. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay. I was like, all right then, excellent. The number 911 now is coming back hardcore. The birds are really responding to my thoughts now, like the animals around here. And no, it's not because
yeah,
I've become a crazy mountain person, although I do enjoy becoming a crazy mountain person.
yeah,
But but it's like,
excellent. Yeah,
yeah, you like say something and like, what are your thoughts, like scrub jay or hummingbird? And they come right up to you, and it's like they're having a conversation. Like you're
yeah,
sending something, and they're literally in the conversation with you. And it's like,
mm,
whoa, this is great.
yeah. I've experienced that with the crows here because I always kind of what I call regarding them and I say, "Oh, you're an handsome devil" and stuff like that. But they do now. They actually come up to me like that and they'll stand and kind of look at me like this. And you do, don't you? You kind of receive some sort of communication, mate. It's true. I know exactly what you're saying. It seems quite a
Mhm.
recent thing for me, anyway. I don't know about yourself, but
Yeah, I think, I've always felt like connected to animals, but I think recently
yeah,
it's like they're just as much a part of your reality as anything else or anybody else in your reality. It's like you're conversing with them, and it's like you speak of their language and they speak of your language, and it's like, okay. you know,
yeah,
it's
it's
not like,
true.
oh, that's a cute animal, but it's like, oh wow, like we're working together now and we actually are understanding each other. Like it's been
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah, I can well understand that. I think that's when you've accepted that. Like once any person, once you've accepted that we're not separate things, that it's all one thing, that's when these things start coming into play. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Because I remember it was a bird, it was like a songbird, and he was just singing his heart out, this songbird. But it was just
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden, I didn't feel any separate from that or anything else that was going on around. And it just all of a sudden sunk in. Whereas before, I might have thought, oh, yeah, yeah, but only theoretically thought that, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I get you.
yeah, you know what I'm
And
saying, right?
trying to think, oh, okay, so a few days ago I had a huge like dark night of the soul, so to speak. I was
Oh,
going,
yeah,
and as I was kind of like starting to feel like stuff was lifting, I finally was ready to accept something and like release it.
yeah,
I was looking outside the window and I was like, birds, I was like calling to the birds. I was like, I just want your confirmation that I'm doing the right thing, and that I'm finally ready to do this, like finally ready to let stuff go. Just as I
mhm,
think that, this giant bird comes over. I don't know what kind of bird it was really. I've been trying to look it up and I can't really find one. Um, but this giant bird comes up to the window because there's a branch right next to the window, and it's flapping against the
oh,
window. Like it's
wow,
trying to get my attention, and it's hopping around the tree. And it's like there was
yeah,
no birds there. The moment I was asking for confirmation, help, the bird was like, boom, like, hey, I'm here, we're listening. And I was like, my gosh, thank you. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
but speaking of messengers, have you had anybody lately like come in like an actual person, like
Yeah.
physical in the 3D, like come up to you seemingly out of nowhere lately, like with a message and then disappear? Like has that happened
Um,
recently?
yeah, you, similar but different. Yeah, I've had people that have come up like that have just been a little bit out of the ordinary,
Hmm.
um, as compared to like most of the human race, if you know what I mean. Right? And there's usually been something a bit significant about it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess you could say that's someone coming with a message, right? Yeah,
Yeah, the reason I ask is because one of our family members was talking about at her job somebody had come up to her who seemed like they were like different than other humans, like just something
yeah,
different about their appearance or their energy or something. And that the person came up to them, asked them, like not knowing anything about our relatives, just like um, wanting to ask her about her background, like what do you do, and then telling this person like you don't need to work here anymore, basically telling her to leave, like you're,
right.
you're meant for something else and it's time for you to leave. Right after we have a
Yeah,
conversation with her where she's saying, I don't know how to quit my job. I'm not happy here. I want to leave. And we were saying, it is
um,
time for you to leave. And she's like, but I think she was looking for more 3D confirmation. And I think that her higher self called in this person to come to her and be like point blank in your face, like, girl, you need to leave this place. And then she's like, whoa. And then this lady says, you're surrounded by your ancestors. So she later that day is going off doing some errands. She runs into somebody from her job and they own a Tesla. And apparently, I didn't know this because I don't know anything about Teslas really. I guess it
yeah.
has heat sensing equipment, so it knows not to run into people. So it's sensing
Okay.
signatures.
Yeah.
And so on the screen of her coworker's car or something, it has her image, but there's like 15 other heat sources surrounding her. So it looks like there's 15 people around
Okay.
her and she's standing by herself. Right after this lady says, you're
Wow.
surrounded by like 15 male ancestors right now. And she's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And then I'm
Yeah.
like, that's cool. So then another a friend of mine actually is like, this is so strange. I don't know if you've had this happen, but some lady came up to me today looking kind of different from other humans, although she was
Yeah.
human. And she's like asking me my background and she's asking me what I do. And she's like, you need to leave. This is your time now. It's time for these people to
Yeah.
leave their job and to, go do the work. And she's like, okay. And the lady says, let's exchange phone numbers. She says, I live on the street, but she says the woman didn't appear homeless. She appeared like well taken
Mhm.
care of. But she says, I live in nature. I live on the street. And she exchanged phone numbers, just like the woman that our relative had run into, who said, yeah, we exchanged phone numbers. And she said, yeah, I live in Florida or something.
Oh,
And it's like,
wow. Yeah.
so I think I think we're either like co creating with angels, spirit guides, whatever it may be, to come
Yeah,
into
I
the
think so.
physical and be like, you're done with like this 3D stuff. Like, let's really get into what you came to this earth to do, you know? Um,
Yeah.
you know, so that's why I asked you. I was like, have you
Oh,
had
yeah.
some?
I mean, years ago, I've had I mean, I had an experience like that. And this was quite unmistakable. Definitely someone who was very much like a human, but like quite different in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And, the physical appearance. I mean, for one thing, this woman, right, well, first seemed like a woman anyway, was about 7.5 feet tall, like stunning, blonde, all this sort of thing. But no one was paying her a blindest bit of attention at first. Now, if you'd have seen this creature, this was absolutely stunning creature, and
Uh-huh.
like 7.5 foot tall. and like looking very blonde and tall. But I don't want to go on because it's a long story. It's quite an experience, but like there were strange things about her. Like this, like you say, like I kind of wondered when it's really busy shopping mall and it's packed, but she's got no car keys, no purse, no boyfriend carrying shopping bags or anything.
Uh-huh.
She's just there. No creases in her shoes, you know, her clothes aren't crumpled. It's just strange like that. And yeah, if that's the kind of thing, then I certainly know what you're talking about there, right?
I think I had, at least the one that I can remember. Who knows? We've probably have run into, all sorts of people, but maybe we just don't remember or took it in as anything out of the ordinary. But um, there's one instance that stands out in my mind when I was in college, and I think I was in grad school at the time, and I was just uh, it was a really difficult time for me, and
Yeah.
I was like the weight of the world was crushing in on me. I wasn't really
Um,
sure. I mean, I was like 21, 22. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't sure if
yeah.
I was living my purpose. I didn't really know what a purpose was quite yet, and so I was down in the dumps, and I was sitting in
Yeah.
one of the buildings on our
Um,
college campus, and I was just kind of not bawling my eyes out, but I was crying, and I was just sitting there staring out a window. There was a bench that faced a window, and I was just thinking, like, man, am I going to fail out of college? Am I going to be homeless? Am I going to fail my parents? Like, I'm the first person to go to a university in my family, and I was just like
yeah,
so
sure.
upset.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then this gentleman shows up and he sits next to me. It's a like very like clean cut like African American fellow, and he's got like a sweater vest, and he's got a bow tie,
Yeah.
and he's got little like a checkered long sleeve dress shirt and slacks, and he looks
Yeah.
really old school, like 50s, kind of like 50s or
Yeah.
60s, but he's down
Yeah.
next to me, and I
Oh,
don't
no.
remember word for word, what he said, but I just remember it was more like along the lines of, "What's wrong?" He says, "Why are you so sad?" And I was like telling him, "Oh, it's a stranger. I don't really want to like tell them my life story." So I said, "Oh, I'm just having a hard
Yeah.
time. It's just I'm having a hard time with college and I don't know what to do." And his
Yeah.
words just kind of were, "Everything's going to be fine. I hope you know that." He says, "Your life is going to be beautiful. And who knows?" He's like, "Maybe you won't be doing what you went to college for." He says, "But I think that your life is going to be just fine." And he was like, "So
Oh, that's
chin up."
great, isn't it?
He's, yeah, he was like, "I know you
Yeah.
can't see it now, but," he says, "there's
Mm.
some wonderful things ahead of you." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks."
Yeah. 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 I do
But
know what you're
he
saying,
got up.
though.
Yeah, he got up, he left, and he had just left, so I turned around to see where he went, and he was gone. Like,
Yeah.
and so I got up because I freaked out a little bit, and I went looking in, like, down the hallway, and I'm like, "Hey, did you see, like a older gentleman, like, in a sweater vest and, like, a bow tie?" And they're like, "No." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." So then I was like, "Maybe I should, like, have listened to what that guy said."
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've had similar to that, you know, like I had a guy like that, and he jumped out of a van like he'd come to fix something, like the street lights or something like that. But again, when I saw him, you know, obviously he's wearing overalls, but there was something a bit old fashioned, like he called me Miss for one thing. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Miss," and stuff like that. And he's had sort of like boofed back hair or something. And like, yeah, I thought
Mhm,
there's nothing really out of the ordinary, but it doesn't quite fit with this zone, if you know what I mean. This guy, and
mhm.
again, I was down in the dumps that time, and I certainly felt better after this guy spoke. And I literally spent about 2 seconds in his company, but it was like that. There was something just a little bit more overly worldly and a bit more dressy or something, even though he's wearing overalls, right? Could have
Yeah,
been any time, you know. Yeah, yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes I think that us humans, sometimes we just need like
yeah,
something physical in front of us for our little 3D senses to go like get us to catch our attention and go like, "Whoa,
yeah,
there's a message for me." Even though many of us meditate, many of us, channel, we get our
Yeah,
messages and we take it in and it's real, yes, but sometimes like to get that confirmation right in front of your face, you're like, "Hmm, all right then."
yeah, yeah, that's it, isn't it? I think it's when you've gone
Mhm.
through like I think it's when you've had to go a real lot on faith, right? And you've done that. But then as humans, like you say, sometimes we've just got to rationalize at the end of the day something. As things are getting wilder and wilder, and like these little bits of confirmation that come in are quite astounding, I think.
Which is why I think, and I'm gonna bring it full circle with the whole aliens thing, whether or not people are projecting fake aliens into the sky or maybe it's real
Yeah,
aliens. You know, I think that the fact that people are looking at that and it causes them to question things, to
yeah,
open up their perspective. So whatever the agenda may be, I like to look at, of course, both sides. There's a lot of sides probably of for it,
yeah,
but side of that is that people are going to open their perspective and they're going to say, wait a minute,
it's true.
so in my whole world has said that there's no such thing as aliens and I've based my entire life off of it, but if there is, then maybe I need to reevaluate my existence here and what I've been doing, whatever it may be. It may be different for everybody,
Yeah,
but I think that, you know, having that 3D, I see it with my own eyes, is good to at least get people to open up a little or question or, something.
yeah, 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 I do, absolutely, yeah, yeah. I think that's
So,
true
but
because for years it's been seen as something that's just pure science fiction in any case. So to get a lot
mhm,
of people to kind of wake up to the fact this could be a reality would probably take something pretty sort of not drastic but very showy, if you know what I mean.
mhm.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I was wondering, I'm like I'm like, which way? I said, if it is like just fake, I'm like, which way are they gonna take it? Are they gonna take it the Hollywood movie route? Like, is this gonna be
Yeah.
Independence Day and we're gonna get Will Smith to go knock an alien out like in their spaceship because they're trying to take over Earth? Like, are
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
gonna send it a virus?
Yeah. I think if it's the Will Smith style, it probably is the government just propaganda, right?
Yeah.
But if it's radically different, then we might have to think on.
I'm just like, which Hollywood or maybe it's gonna be oh gosh, what was the name of that one? I forgot the name. I saw it in the theaters back in the 90s when I was in high school. It had
Oh,
David Duchovny in it, and it was where
oh,
the aliens, it was a funny one, where the
yeah.
aliens like fed on heat. So like if you tried to bomb them, they just kind of got bigger.
All right.
And
Yeah.
oh, what was that called? It was like called Invaded or something like that. Oh, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
I don't
Maybe
remember it
you guys,
very well.
but it's because David Duchovny was big at the time because X Files was going
Yes,
on,
because I
so they wanted
remember he
to
was
have
in
him.
so many things like that, wasn't he? Yeah, and I used to watch a lot of
Yeah.
those things myself. Yeah.
Uh, oh, Edgar was talking about, Mars Attacks. Oh, I remember seeing Mars
It's
Attacks in
funny
the
actually. I just
theaters as
thought
well.
that just before he said it. Yeah, Mars Attacks was brilliant. Oh, I love that.
What wa there was one that my part of that movie, my brother and I used to uh, oh, yeah, my brother and I used to repeat, "Prepare to die, Earth scum, prepare to die, Earth scum."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, my brother and I, like, have always loved, like, all the funny alien movies, the, like, more
yeah,
serious alien movies, like and, like, we never doubted that there was something out there. I mean, I love Star Trek, so I was like, yeah, I was
yeah,
like, we're probably out there exploring space in the future already, and,
yeah.
I
That's
was
it,
like,
isn't it?
wonder
Yeah,
what
me and my brother were the same, right? Yeah, yeah,
my mom even made me, she sewed me a little, what you call it, like, not Space Academy. Now my brain has I'm thinking of all these things. The Federation, yes, for Star
yes,
Trek. a little
Yeah.
Federation outfit,
Oh,
and I
sweet.
wanted your data. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you say. When I was a kid, like, and especially like here in the UK, it was Doctor Who, with Tom Baker. And one of my aunties like knitted me this massive long Doctor Who scarf, but I loved it, because he used to have this really long scarf. Yeah, stuff like that. It's great though, isn't it?
mhm. Oh, oh, I wish you could see Miss Squirrel is out.
Oh,
Miss Squirrel, hi. She always stops to look at you and she's like, "Do you have food?" I'm like, "No, at the moment." She's like, "Then peace out."
yeah. Yeah, we've got a few squirrels here as well, actually.
Okay. Well, since we do have our cards, do you want to slang some cards for the week? I mean, this has
Yeah,
been
sure. Why not?
super interesting. And I'm sorry that I haven't been able to read out all of your comments, but I will watch the replay. And anybody else who watches the
Yeah, me
replay,
too.
please look at that chat. That chat has been going off. Like,
Yeah, I see it flash up there, and then it sort of fades, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to see them, but like you say, they go past on the screen.
Angela says, "I'm so glad I caught this. I'm smiling so much." Edgar says, "Did you
Oh,
see the
good.
vid of the flying squirrel faking its own death?" I did. Dude, I sent that to James's mom. That was hilarious.
I'll have to look
It
out
was
for
so
that one.
dramatic. Yeah, it was like squirrel. There's like, I don't know, I think it's like a broom laying on the ground, and the squirrel's like laying in like a dead position, but then looks up to see if anybody's looking and then goes back to its dead position.
Oh, definitely. I love things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
this week's reading, I pulled out my Wally's World Oracle, which you guys can find
Okay.
in the link down below.
At Santa Morte.
Yes, one of my
Santa
fave decks.
Morte Town. Yeah, I love this one. I thought, yeah,
Me
I've not had this
and
one out in a while, actually.
let's see. Angela said a can of worms is good alien movie. Oh, maybe I have to see that. A can of worms. Angela says where the kid feels like he doesn't belong, accidentally invites all these alien energies to take him with them, but realizes through the crazy adventure he's at home on Earth, and even teaches one species of alien affection can be good. Interesting. Sounds like a fun movie.
That sounds good.
Okay, let's see, Wally, what do you have cooked up for this week? Another cray cray week.
Yeah.
Probably another cray cray week of time not doing things linearly,
Oh, yeah.
stuff going missing and then reappearing someplace else.
Oh, do you know, I've had that as well. I was blaming it on my spirit guide though, because she does that sometimes.
Well, I was blaming it on the spirits around here. I mean, these poor
Yeah.
spirits, I probably blame them for everything, but I was thinking it was that. But this started happening after James's cousin was saying that she had a dream
Oh,
of being abducted by the Grace and that she was
oh,
like in a
wow.
room with them. And we're like, maybe you
Yeah.
did have an encounter with them. That's interesting. But then after that, okay, before I pull my card real quick, after that, um, James and I were in the living room and I decided to make dinner. I'm making dinner. I was stony baloney, so it was taking me a long time to make dinner.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how it
yeah.
goes. You're like cutting the zucchini, but it's like 15 minutes later.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm like slowly making dinner. Um, we were watching, I don't know if you guys watch it on YouTube. It's like a YouTube show that used to be called Spell Slingers, and it's like Magic the Gathering, and they play it, and it's kind of funny.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
we're watching Spell Slingers. Spell Slingers is a 20-25 minute show. Um, when I looked at the clock when I started making dinner, it was 5 o'clock, like 5 o'clock on the dot. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm making dinner. By the time we finished dinner, I looked at the clock. It was 5:30. Like
Right, yeah.
so yeah. So and we had paused the video like I don't know, 6 times to go do things. So the
Yeah,
25-minute video probably took like 45 minutes to watch, plus the
yeah,
20, 30 minutes it took me to make dinner, plus the 15, 20 minutes to eat dinner, yet only 30 minutes had elapsed. And it was
yeah.
like, uh,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I do because I experienced a bit of that myself recently. Yeah, that was when I was sleeping at weird times as well. And the next day, the time was just stretched all over the place. And I'm thinking, it's still the morning. It's only 11:45, midday. And like, I'm thinking, it can't be. It's got to be like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've done so many things. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's been like that. Either the time is going really fast and like all of a sudden it's nighttime, or it's going so slow, like you've done a million things and it's only 9 a.m. or something like that.
yeah,
And then yeah,
yeah,
the things going missing and reappearing, I was like, maybe, huh? James was like, it could be that we're, timelines. It could be that maybe we've
yeah,
been abducted by aliens and we're being thrown back, because time
yeah,
is all weird and because things are missing or rearranged. Um,
yeah. I've been
but
suspicious of that myself. Yeah,
yeah.
especially
Well,
after the night times. I've been taken up and then dropped back here. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and even the homes around here, like it looks
Yeah.
like they're closer. And that's just not it's not just
Oh,
me,
yeah.
mainstream too. Like we look and it's like, have we ever seen that person's like house that close? Like I've never been able to see their porch before. They've been so far away and now they're so close. Like how did the
Yeah.
houses move? And houses appeared where we hadn't seen houses before when we take the same freaking road into town like a million times.
Oh,
And there's
yeah.
many people.
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. Something's coming, and I'm super excited for whatever that is.
Yeah.
But look, coming for the week.
Yeah. Well, I just drew the Wheel of Fortune. So there you go, folks. The Wheel of
Ah,
Fortune.
wow.
Straight off the bat. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I got this card in Wally's World. This card actually, there's two cards that don't have Wally in it. It's two other cats to kind of honor them.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
cat- this cat's name is George. He kind of looks like Wally because, well, I had only had Siamese up until that point.
Oh,
But this is
bless.
George. This is a Mammoth Mountain in California where I used to go snowboarding. And this is actually a picture of
Oh,
George when he
lovely.
was in the winter of his life, just before he passed away.
Yeah.
But in this, he's looking towards the sunrise, because he's
Oh,
off to a new adventure. So
yeah.
let's
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
let's see. Let's dive into this and see what George has to tell us for this week.
Cool.
Okay. George is coming in saying, with anything that happens this week, if you find yourself saying, that's impossible, or that's just not the way things are, or that's just the way I am, you have to ask yourself why and where is that coming from? If you say, oh, but that's just not my personality, I just don't do that, that's just how I am, then we look at, then where is how you are came from? Is it because you created yourself that way? Is it part of programming? Is this the words of actually your mother and father speaking through you of this is just the way you
Mm,
are? But really questioning those things and questioning, our belief system. I'm not saying, I'm like, on top of the mountain. Well, I am on top of a mountain, but I'm not in that fashion.
yes, I know what you mean.
But, not like that. But, you know, just always question everything, especially this week with whatever information is being presented to you.
Yeah.
Because if we just go off of the automatic knee jerk response of, well, that's just the way it is. Oh, that's just the way physics works. Oh, that's just,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
you do this, then this will always happen. But we need to ask
yeah,
ourselves why. Why do we believe that? Where did that come from? And know that you can change that belief at any time. So,
yes, absolutely.
so definitely lots of questioning this week. Question yourselves, people.
Yeah, good advice always.
All right. So let's see, Lisa, what did you get with your Wheel of Fortune or some other cards that maybe you pulled?
Yeah, um, yeah, it's really strange actually. When I saw the Wheel of Fortune, I could see reflected in this phone screen here actually, and it's a famous picture of like a goddess, but I don't know if it's Aphrodite or one like that.
Hmm.
But actually, what I thought, even though it's the Wheel of Fortune, right? I thought
Hmm.
of the Earth as the wheel, and I don't think excuse me, I don't think this is at all literal, but it was almost as if it had shifted on its axis. And something was channeling to me saying, there's a lot of talk about, oh, the Earth and the planet Earth, will shift on its axis and everything will spin out of control, or, uh, there'll be all these natural disasters. But it wasn't, the message I was getting wasn't that literal. It wasn't about like the Earth literally going to tip on its axis.
Hmm.
But I think, as we've been saying, as in a more energetic way, it's going to tip on its axis with quite a lot of things revolving, and this, especially in the next 2 weeks, I would say 2 or 3 weeks
Hmm.
globally. Um, it's like, I've noticed it used to get warm here, like midday would always be the hottest part of the day, but now it seems like it's 5 o'clock in the evening. It's just weird stuff like that. When it gets hot, it starts to warm up, and it's just kind of. So I think it relates to that kind of thing, really. But it was odd how I could see this goddess reflected in my phone, because
Hmm.
it's as if she was stood behind me, but obviously it wasn't in this realm at all, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that message. Yeah,
Cool.
dude.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's it. Just deciphering it. But yeah, absolutely. I could. Yeah.
Oh, looks like
Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. I've gone all
well,
night, man.
keep those cards on you because we have a
Definitely.
our friend Janine is looking for some guidance, so maybe we could both pull a card for her.
Mm,
But she said, car problems awaiting diagnostics. Think it will cost 800 to £1,000 to fix. Shall I
wow.
just tuck into my savings and change cars instead? The car is 17 years old. So she's wondering if maybe she should just get a new car or pay the 800 to £1,000 to fix
Okay.
the 17-year-old vehicle. All right. So Janine, Lisa, and I will pull a card for you.
Yeah. So it seems all
Mm,
the junk up.
okay. Before I pull my card, I was getting a little download, and it was showing, if you go and get this older car fixed, or if you had a brand new car, and I'm just seeing you standing between these two cars, um, and the energy that was coming for, I think this was more your higher self, was saying to look at the energy towards vehicles and expenses in general, because we are manifesting, like this is not like a woo woo thing, like, oh, we're manifesting, like, no, we really are, like, this reality is shifting and changing, evidenced by the things we're literally seeing with our two peepers. And so
Yeah.
look into, when this 17-year-old car that you have, how do you feel about it subconsciously? Like, have you felt like, oh, something's gonna break, or for sure this is gonna have a problem? And if it does have a problem, for sure it's gonna be an expensive problem. Think about the energy going into it, because it says whatever energy is going into your old vehicle is going to go into the new vehicle as well. So if you
Yeah.
believe that cars are just cost heavy, they break down all the time, they cost a lot of money to fix, sometimes they're unreliable, then that's going to be the reality with that new vehicle, whether it's new or old. So that's just kind of what came through. It was like a fast little, thing from the higher self.
Yeah,
But Lisa, if you have the card, go ahead and read yours, and I'll keep shuffling mine.
yeah. Well, believe it or not, I actually drew the chariot. So quite appropriate. And I shuffled those for quite a long time. Um, yeah, I got a very similar message, actually. Like if the car, if it, say if it's not done, I don't want to sound like a car salesman, but like if it's not, if it's not sort of done a lot of mileage, and it might be expensive to get it fixed, but if it's something that then it's likely to go on for quite a long time,
Hmm.
then it might well be worth hanging on to it. I also feel though that something even better might come along in the meantime for
Hmm.
her, because yeah, I know. I mean, I used to work in the motor industry, so I know what it's like with older cars, and they become economically unviable almost the click of a fingers. For ages they'll go along, it's a great car, then all of a sudden it's done another 10,000 miles. Oh, now it's not worth anything. And I
Hmm.
was kind of getting that energy about it as well. And there's a lot of talk at the moment, especially in the UK, about banning all petrol cars altogether and bringing in lithium battery cars and all this. So
Hmm.
I think there is quite an energy of that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, I honestly believe as well that older cars, they do have their own vibe, they do have their personality. I mean, vehicles do. They literally vibe along, don't they, for years and years. So yeah, maybe tune into your car like energetically first, and sort of like yeah, get a feel for what you should do that way. That sounds like a great idea, actually. Go for a little country drive, talk to her or him or it,
Yeah,
and
whatever it
see,
may
yeah,
be.
that's it. See if you can decide together what's for the best.
Well, let's see. I got the Fool, and what I was getting with that is um the advice from the higher self. Of course, you do whatever you want. We're never telling you what to do, but the advice from the higher self is just kind of what Lisa said. Maybe you go and get this older vehicle fixed. And I do feel like something else is going to come along, but also part of that something else is a realization that this really is a matrix illusion, and things that we think are impossible, like there was one gentleman who was talking about he pulled over on the side of the road because he got a flat tire, and he was saying, I don't want to be in this reality because I don't have the money in this timeline to fix this tire. So he says, I want to be in a reality and a timeline where I have a four healthy tires. And he says a
Yes.
few moments had passed, he got in his vehicle, he just started driving on his flat, and by the time he got to his destination, he had four good tires.
Wow.
And he says,
Yeah.
so that's when he realized that he really was living in a matrix illusion. I'll give another example that isn't, secondary source, but more primary source. My
Yeah.
Jeep. Um, I went into town. The second to last time I went into town, when I started my Jeep, I heard the clack 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 sound, and I was like, "What the
Oh
heck?"
yeah.
Usually that's the sound when the things aren't lubricating when it first starts up.
Yeah.
And so I automatically checked the oil. It was bone dry. And I had just had an oil
Mm,
change, and I looked, there was no leaks. And I was like, what? And my first thought was, oh my gosh, my Jeep's gonna break because I have to get into town and I don't have any oil on me. And what happens, if there's no oil in the engine by the time I get to town, it's gonna cause problems. But then I thought, you know what? I don't think I was put up here to have those kinds of problems. So I think my
yeah.
Jeep is going to be just fine. So I went to town, I bought oil anyway. I got back and I didn't fill it up yet with oil until yesterday when we went into town. I went, looked at my dipstick full of oil.
Wow. Yeah.
So I set the intention that my Jeep was going to be fine, and miraculously, there's oil in it. So, Angela, that's kind of what this card is saying. And I think what Lisa is saying too,
Yeah.
that it, you know, perhaps maybe keep this vehicle because the vehicle is going to teach you something about your power and what you can physically do in your reality.
Yeah.
And if our belief system is that this car is old, it's going to keep breaking down, then of course that's going to be true. But even if we consciously are like, okay, well, I'm going to pretend that everything's going to be fine. If subconsciously in there it's saying, no,
Yeah.
no, it's not going to be fine, then our subconscious is going to rule our reality. That's why we have to get a hold of that subconscious. And perhaps this is a good time to start looking at, why do you feel that maybe older vehicles will break, or that maybe vehicles are a burden, or that maybe vehicles are expensive? Is that something that you were taught by your parents? Did you witness that in your own family, like that cars just broke down all the time and that money wasn't an issue with this? And maybe going back into those things and healing those, that programming, those traumas, sending healing to everybody involved in those
Yeah.
situations and family, so that your present reality can be much different. It's not being dictated by the woes of cars past, in
Yes,
your
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's true. Yeah.
so I think this is a wonderful, I think it's a great question, because it's a wonderful opportunity to really stop and look at the energy going into whatever your decision is, whether you want to get a new car or you want
Yeah.
to keep this older baby. But my
Yeah.
vote's on keeping the older baby.
Me too. Yeah. Because after that, I drew the Page of Cups as well, and I think that sort of ties in quite well with what you just said, especially in the in the original deck, because I think pages are sort of they're youthful, aren't they? But he's looking in a cup, isn't he? And there's a fish coming out of it. There's sort of things like a bit out of context, and he's very curious,
Hmm.
in the original RWS card. But you see this beautiful bony lady here. She's kind of examining something up above her, like, and yeah, it's like she's sort of doing the same, really,
Hmm.
contemplating whatever she thinks she's going to do next. Bony
Well,
lady.
Janine popped in and said her parents never drove. Well, then that's also
Oh,
something to take a look at too. Like, because I have some friends
yeah.
who've like, they never drive. They don't have licenses. They've never owned a vehicle, because in their eyes, like, that's just a waste of money, in their eyes.
Yeah.
And so they've put that on my godsons of like, don't get a car. It's just a waste of money. If you do get a car, it's going to cost you all this money, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh,
So
no.
there's that
Yeah.
too. So, just, and I don't think that, when we talk about programming and stuff, nothing I don't believe was done maliciously. Like, we're
No,
just,
I don't. I think there's
we
good intentions
inadvertently,
behind most things. Yeah.
yeah, we just inadvertently place our beliefs and our thoughts onto the people around us, and especially if a child is young, they want to believe what the adult
Yeah.
says, or they tap into the energy of that adult. So, yeah, just some things, Janine, to,
Yeah.
maybe look into. But you know, I'd say you have total control of the reality around you. So whether it's new or old, you can make that baby run. So,
Yeah, I get a good vibe about the car as well myself. Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely keep it going a bit longer.
ooh, we have our
Especially if
girl
you do it
Susie.
on
Susie's got a question for us as well. Yay! She
Yeah,
says,
good.
let me see, should I get to know my new friend in North Dakota? He and I have a very different lifestyle. Thank you.
Oh,
All
okay.
right,
Oops,
Susie.
my card's all over the place actually. Right, I'm gonna swap deck because the deck's telling me that it's time to swap deck. So let's go.
Okay. Okay. Happened to
Whoops, there you go.
Susie's
This one's
energy
lively.
and her buddy friend in North Dakota.
Those two wanted to come.
Okay, so the energy coming across right away is kind of this go ahead from your guides to have fun. Like, maybe not look at the outcome of things, but more just
Yeah,
enjoying yourself in the moment. And it's that which is going to help with a lot of healing that you're going through. A lot of heart healing, a lot of understanding yourself and enjoying yourself, enjoying having fun, enjoying trying something new, and seeing yourself in a different light with this something new. Um, So
Yes.
let's see here.
Yeah, I must admit, actually, two spit out, so I'll pick them up anyway. Which is Princess of Cups and King of Pentacles. So you see, we've got
Oh,
this chap and this lovely lady here. They both
yeah.
look like they're sort of, you know, putting on the best clothes and everything, preparing to meet or something like that. But that's not actually the one I've drawn. They just insisted on jumping out of the deck. So my cards are very lively tonight, actually. They went over the.
Yes,
Yeah,
sometimes they're like a bunch of catty Cathy's.
that's it, isn't it? The Santa Morte ones, they got all mixed up and back to front. And I thought, oh, yeah, it's time to change decks.
Well, Susie, the card that flew out for me was the Two of Cups. Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Look at these two people having a
Oh, that's
lovely
beautiful.
interaction, or actually, well, two dear people, but but
No
yeah, these two.
way. No way.
Oh my gosh,
Honestly.
dude,
And that's the one I just cut the deck. So
dude,
there you go. Two of cups, two of cups.
Susie, if that isn't like the message in your face,
Yeah. There you go, girl.
wow, I think that's hmm.
I think that's
Go
unanimous.
go have fun, Susie. Have fun. Just let this
Yeah,
be
go for it,
fun.
Susie.
Allow yourself to be open and free and see what comes of it. And also, like I was feeling, you're going to learn some new things about yourself. And this is good. This is a growing
Yeah,
opportunity, and also for the other person as well. So,
yeah. Wow.
okay, I think we have someone else here. Our friend Caitlin, Aurora Starcy, says, "Why was my former foster brother's energy with me?" Is her question. Why was her former foster brother's energy with her?
Okey-dokey.
Alrighty. So let's tap into Caitlin's energy.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Straight away, Caitlin. And by the way, whenever I'm tapping into people's energy, I feel like, oh, hello, hummingbird. There's a hummingbird that was like this close from the camera. Anyway, so cool. Um, I feel that the more I think I tap into people's energy and do their readings, the easier it is. Like all of a sudden, it's like so much more clear and easy. So, Caitlin, it was pretty easy to tap into you, and it felt like with the shifts that you've been going through. Remember, we talked about before. Um, all the birds are coming here right now. We talked about before you learning to have more confidence, more self-esteem in yourself, and being able to put up healthier boundaries, and um, things like that. You're growing in this respect. And so your foster brother's energy, having gone through similar energies together and learning experiences, you now have something to share with that energy, that energy can learn from. Especially, going through all the things that you've been going through as of late. So let's pull a card. But Lisa, if you've got something, go ahead while I shuffle up.
Um, yes, I have actually. I've got the Four of Pentacles. Um, and again, I know the Four of Pentacles to me is quite a lot, isn't it, about protecting what's your own sort of thing. But it's in a secure, like confident way. Again, if I think of the RWS, there's the guy, and he's
Mhm.
kind of got his pentacles, but he's got it all together, hasn't he? Um, yeah, I must admit, actually, boundaries came to me. So, I mean, I don't know the relationship you got with your foster brother or anything like that, Caitlin, but I think similarly to what you said, Tara, I think that you're going to come up, whatever the situation, like you're going to show to him probably, and a lot of other people, how you've got these firm boundaries and like they've brought you confidence and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about the relationship, but like that's the kind of strong feeling I'm getting through. And it's not negative. I think maybe your foster brother might see a big change in you, Caitlin. He might even be sort of like, wow, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I intuitively get from this anyway, Four of Pentacles.
Yeah, and it's interesting you got the
Oh,
4 of
man.
pentacles because I got the 3 of pentacles.
Oh, wow. There you go then. Beautiful.
So, dude, okay, so with the 3 of pentacles, I was feeling like the energies that come around, they don't necessarily have to be disembodied spirits. They can be, the energies of people that are very much
Yeah,
alive that come around us. And that before, with Liesel talking about, boundaries, I was also feeling like oftentimes when maybe you'd be at the altar or working on energy work, a lot of it is protect. Like you want to protect yourself. Because of perhaps situations and people of the past that caused you to feel less than secure or safe. And
yeah,
so a lot of your energy had been towards, I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to be hurt by others. So I put up this protective barrier. Where now, yes, you are working on protection, but now it's being transmuted into boundaries. I can have healthy boundaries that doesn't keep people out. It allows people in, but I decide what part of their energy comes in. And then you're growing
yes,
at that point and you're healing and now more work that you were meant to do on this planet is now it's ready for you. You're ready to really start diving even more deeply, not that you haven't had already, but even more deeply into that work. And so that's why I feel like that energy has come around is the energy, you're shifting, Caitlin. You've gone from I don't want to be hurt to I'm ready to heal and I'm ready to do,
yes,
my work here. And this is also showing you, how you've kind of grown since then, since, being in foster care, and all of that, that you are a different person, but the same, if that makes sense. So you're still Caitlin, but you are a like Caitlin 2.0, you're,
definitely. Yeah, that makes sense with the Four of Pentacles to me, definitely as well. Because, there's in the old deck, there's two under his feet, and he's sort of got the other two like this. And like you said, it's like, that's under your belt sort of thing, and now you've got this solid, sort of foundation. Yeah, I agree with that totally.
all right. Excellent, excellent. Yes, you're very welcome, you guys. All right, Diamond has a
Thank
question.
you. Thank you.
Um, Her question is for the both of us. My question would be: is the interview I had last week, will it turn into a second interview and a hire?
Okay.
Okay, so she had an interview last week. She's wondering if she will get a second interview and a hire from it. Let's
All right.
tap into Diamond. Hmm. Okay. As I'm tapping into all your guys' energies, everybody we're looking for, it's a similar theme to
Yep.
what we pulled at the very beginning for the week. Um, and it's to question everything. So this job that you're going for, um, is this something like you really, really, truly, truly want to do? You're super excited about it. You just know in your heart and your soul, like I'm meant to go, into this job for now. And it doesn't have to be like a huge groundbreaking job. Sometimes we're meant to go into certain jobs because we're ready for the next lesson or we're ready for
Yeah.
the next adventure. Um, but how do you feel, regardless of if you get hired or not, how do you feel about this job in general? And where is that feeling coming from? Are you getting this job because it's going to make somebody else proud? Like you feel like you've raised yourself up in achievement somehow? Or is it just one where it's like, you know what, I just feel good here, so I want to go here. Um, and in that case, then what is the energy going into the interview that you just had? You said you had one, the first interview. When you were in there, did you feel like you were on the spot? Like you're the one being grilled and like you have to be the one that looks good for everybody else, or was it a co-creation, do you feel, where you wanted to interview them just as much as they wanted to interview you, so that you could both figure out if this is really where your next journey should take place, instead of the I have to go here because if I don't then it means something bad, that kind of stuff. So this is just kind of stuff that came up that I was hearing from the higher self, and it seemed like very similar for a lot of people. But just questions to ask. So, let's see. Diamond says, "Thank you. I have a lot of experience with this job." Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, Lisa, let's see what you get.
Yeah, again, three that insisted on spitting themselves out of the deck, but I picked them all up because, again, it seems very sort of like relative to yours. So, anyway, without waffling, first, up, we've got the Magician,
Hmm.
um, Judgment card, and the Moon. So, all major arcana. But I do
Whoa.
love with this Mystic Mondays deck how the colours kind of run together. You know, they kind of they look like they belong together. Yeah, I think judgment in this case, there's two X's is 20, is, may not be sort of like harsh judgment. It might be discernment. I think your own discernment. You
Mm,
said that, you've got a lot of experience for this job. So I think, yeah, I think you'll be able to make a good judgment, which leads me to think that they might actually sort of like, yeah, they might come out with a snap offer and sort of like see how you react to it as well, if you know what I mean.
mhm.
Um, I imagine the magician is the boss in this situation for some reason, or whoever's like leading the interviews. Um, but yeah, the moon can be sort of like mysterious things, can't it? Like, or even illusion, or like. So yeah, I'd make sure if they want to negotiate the wage check, make sure
Mhm.
that they're singing from your song sheet, okay? That's what I would say anyway. Yeah, but there you go. Make of those what you will. Yeah, they all insisted on coming together, so there you go. And it's all major arcana, so that's got to be good, I think.
So it must be a next major thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
So,
Yeah, yeah. I think you may have to think on your feet, but like you say, I think you've got more than enough experience to do that. So that's going to
mhm.
be in your advantage, definitely.
There was something else. I have your card here, but there was something else that came up too when you said that you had a lot of years of experience. Um, but again, like your guides were like, sometimes, we really love a particular thing. So yes, we have a lot of years of experience, and we want to continue that because it's our love. Like I can't see myself doing anything else. I'm super happy doing it. Other times we'll have
Yeah,
years of experience about something, but we feel like this is the next step because I only have experience in this area. And I'm afraid if I start anything else, I don't have any experience in other areas. So it'd be too scary to try something new because then I would have to start all over again. So your
yeah,
guys were just wondering, if you're taking into account as well. And
yeah.
she's saying pay what motivated her.
Cool.
Yes. Okay. So the card that came up was the Seven of Swords.
Wow.
And so that makes sense, with the investigating, that you said that they're doing. Um, because even though at a 3D conscious level, they are trying to find the person that is the best fit for this. And I do feel like they already pre in advance have certain people in mind that they might look for in the job, but they're still keeping it open to maybe being somebody outside of their little circle of
Yeah.
friends. So just kind of keep that in mind too. That humans are humans, and they may have biases. Sometimes when it comes to hiring, like, are you going to hire your best friend who has years of experience, or are you going to hire this other person with your experience that maybe you don't know as well as your best friend? Kind of in that vein. Um, but really, what I'm getting is looking into your energy of it. And just like when we were talking to our friend about her vehicle and what vehicle she should get, a new car or take care of the old car that she has, it's a similar energy.
Mm,
That there's an infinite amount of outcomes right now. And at the moment, it does sound like it's geared towards you. That you would be going into the second interview. This does sound like the timeline that you're on, that you would be going into a second interview and you would be a possible hire. But
mhm.
look at your energy towards it. If it's I don't know if pick me. I don't know if I'm good enough. That I don't know if I'm good enough energy, or perhaps there's other people that might be better than me. And it's almost like a pick me instead of a I feel good about going this direction. And if I don't get it, then I understand that this wasn't the direction I was meant to go. Perhaps I'm meant to do something else, instead of the man, I
Yeah.
didn't get it. There's something wrong with me energy, because there's nothing wrong with you. I do feel that we are accepted into places where it's really is for our best and highest good and our learning. So no matter the outcome, even though you are on a timeline to get what you want, look at what you're actually getting, out of this co-creation. And if you don't get what you want, then look at that as something beautiful as well. Perhaps you just dodged a bullet, for
Yeah.
something that may not have been up your alley. Maybe there might have been complications down the way, and you just can't foresee it right now. Um, or, and then there might be something else that opens up that really is up your alley, and you just and that's not
Yeah.
available right now because you're so focused on this one interview. So just kind of keep that, eyes open for that. But yes, I do feel like you are, as of today, on the timeline for that second interview.
Me
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go back here. There was some comments. She said, "Absolutely." Susie said, "Diamond, that is okay. We all need to eat." Oh, she had to go get something to eat.
Gooseberry.
Uh,
Yeah.
She says, "Correct. I need the
Gooseberry.
paycheck." Okay, so she needs the paycheck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, you can set that intention too. That I want to be in a place that really is going to be for my growth, my best and highest good, but will also be able to sustain me, because we all need our nourishment, our sustain. We need, you know, some place to live. We need things to eat, and things like that, transportation. Um, so kind of setting that intention instead of, if I don't get this, then I don't get to do this and I don't get to do this. And that puts out a lot of what you don't want, and the universe is like, okay, now I know for sure what you don't want. You don't want to, have a less paycheck. You don't want to, you know be left like that. So what do you want? So put in, what do you want? What do you want really? Something that you can co-create with, something that's going to help you grow and open up, and something that will help sustain you, whether it's this job or another opportunity waiting. And so then you would say, I'm also open to all opportunities. I'm open, as long as they are going to help me grow and they're going to help me pay the bills and sustain me, then I'm open for it. So keep that energy, I would say. All right, here. Let's see. Diamond said, "Awesome. Thank you. You're very welcome." Thank you to everybody who slang some cards with us. Um, I wanted to, for as we start to conclude our live chat, um, since I have Liesel here, and Liesel, you're pretty good at connecting with spirit, pretty good at channeling. Hmm. Let's see, because my brain is fighting over something, but also my higher self's trying to do something. So maybe let me listen to my higher self. Give me a second here.
Yes, I know what you're saying, right? I know what you mean.
Uh, let's see. Susie says, "You're both amazing, Tara and Lisa. Please read again together."
Oh,
Oh, I'd
thank
love
you.
to if Lisa's open to it.
Yes,
Heck,
absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
let's see. Higher self, what do you want? Because I know what my brain wants. Okay, sounds good. Excellent. All right. Higher self came in and said, "Lisa, you already know that there's been an energy standing near you for almost the entire chat. Um,
Yes.
and there's been a couple that have been popping in and out here. So if you don't mind sharing whatever message you can get from the energy that's been nearby you this entire chat, and I'll share
Yeah.
the energies that want to speak here. And then afterward, if we want to do a meditation together, and then
Sounds good. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, you're your spirit seems to be a lot more antsy than my spirit, so I'm gonna let your spirit talk first
Okay, yeah.
because yours has been trying to talk the whole chat.
Yes, I know. Yeah. I've been trying to look sort of normal, but like I could tell it stood right behind me and like
Yeah.
and then in front of my tripod there. So yeah, okay, right. So yeah, channel spirit. Please guide me clearly. Any messages you have to come through for us today, please state them clearly, and I'll wait your answer. There's a lot of illusion going on at this time, a lot of subterfuge. There has been a lot of speak also of yeah, changing times, changing timelines tonight. I'm here to say that no, sorry, I've lost connection. Sorry about that. Yeah, I
Uh,
broke connection with that one. Sorry about that.
no worries. No, I think that the first part of the message was good though, and that does go
Yeah,
along with the parts that we were pulling, that there is a lot of illusion, going on. If
yeah.
this entire matrix is an illusion, then nothing is actually real. Yes, Miss Squirrel, you are real, but you're also an energy.
Oh,
She came by. Um, but yeah, that if everything is illusion, then that means everything is malleable. Then
yeah,
anything is possible. It doesn't matter what we've been taught physics is, because physics is also an illusion because it's part of the matrix that's here. Um, and so, yeah, I'm really feeling that message. Just try to look beyond anything that's being presented to you, whether it's a car breaking down or they're telling you that there's aliens in the sky, or
yeah,
whatever it may be. Go inwards, tap in, because we can't just take our eyes word for it. We can't just take our ears word for it, or what we saw on the news, or what my best friend who I love to pieces said. Just because we feel it looks real to my senses, my eyes, my sense of smell, taste, touch, hearing, doesn't mean it's real. Because as
yeah,
we know, if you want to go the scientific route, those senses can be manipulated in the human brain to things that aren't
yeah,
really. So if that's illusion, and there are people that make their living off being illusionists who
yeah.
are very
That's
good at
it.
tricking our senses, then perhaps we shouldn't rely as heavily on those senses as we think we do.
Yeah.
Definitely go inwards, people.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I got from that, and especially like you say, from pulling the moon card before and all this sort of thing. I think Spirit. Thank you, by the way, Spirit did channel what they wanted to say. It just kind of
Mhm.
I broke connection quite abruptly. I sort of like I think I was trying a little too hard or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
that happens sometimes. Sometimes I'm like trying
Yeah,
too hard. They just are like, we'll try again later.
yeah, it was a bit like that. All of a sudden, whoa, I felt him leave my heart chakra. Right? It seemed like a guy though, quite sort of like distinguished, maybe Victorian, not sure.
Okay, let's see. I have Anna. You guys all know Anna. Well,
Oh
if you don't
wow,
know who
yes,
is our resident Dene spirit, Navajo spirit. She lived here about 400 years ago or so, and her hogan was right where we want to put our little yurt house someday. But she comes in from time to time to speak. She does get really shy about like talking to the masses, but sometimes she'll do it, and I think she wants to do it today. So and every time I see her, she's of such a short stature. She has such like I love her cheeks. She has like like happy cherub cheeks, and
it's
she always
cute.
has her blanket around her. She's saying that The easiest thing to forget is that everything is you and that we are connected to everything. She says, even the birds that are singing in the trees at the moment, they're singing because you asked them to. You may not know that on a conscious level, but you asked them to come in. You asked them to speak, so they're there. And she said, that's something that we knew in my time. That's why it was so important to understand our thoughts. What am I thinking? If I think ill of my brother, will illness befall him? This could be part of my truth, my world. If I think that winter will be hard, maybe it will. And so we had to put our intention into what we think. If I feel that our friends, my brother, the men, my father, they will have a good hunt, then they will. They know it. They've already asked in advance the lives they needed to take in order to nourish us. If those lives spoke to them and said, not today, they would not hunt today because they do not have permission. Talk to everything around you and know that nothing is lesser. Just because you stand taller than the ant on the ground doesn't make you better than the ant. There is much the ant can teach you that perhaps you haven't integrated into your life. And it is in this respect and understanding that the ant is you and you are it that we create something beautiful. You create harmony. You create the life of your dreams. You don't need to be blessed by another person or showered with your currency in order to make the life of your dreams. You make it with your intention. And it's as simple as that. Aho. Oh, oh, thank you, Anna. Thank you, thank
Thank you, Anna. I love her so much.
you. All right. Whew. All right. Whew. I'm gonna have a little bit of water on that. All right, good stuff. Let's see here. Oh, Susie also posted Liesl's channel again for everybody. She said, "Love that Anna and Tara." Um, Diamond said, "Liesl, many thanks." All
Thank
right,
you. Thank you.
so you guys ready for a nice meditation before we sign off? Liesl, do you have any ideas for maybe our meditation, our guided meditation? Maybe where you want to take
Um,
it or focus?
yeah. Transcendence was the word that came into my mind. But I think that's in terms of like moving on into a new frequency, because I do think this month an awful lot of things are coming in and happening during this Leo season, especially. So, yes, maybe something for connecting to the higher self. I think that'd be good. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. I got some stuff coming. All right, you guys. So everybody get nice and cozy. You can find yourself a nice chair to sit in. You can be in the nice cozy area that Lisa is sitting in right now.
Yes,
Um,
I don't know, so.
um, and yes, thank you to everybody who got her readings from us today. Thank you, thank you. It is a blessing when we can read for people, so it was lovely. Um, So yeah, get nice and comfortable. If you guys want to lay down on the bed, you want to lay down in a patch of grass, you want to sit under a tree, it's totally up to you. Just make sure that you're comfortable, where you don't feel like you're getting tired in the position that you're in. Okay, and as you get nice and cozy, go ahead and bring your awareness to your breath. Just notice the air as it passes between your lips, through the nose, feeling the rise and fall of the chest. We're not placing any judgment on it, we're just noticing. And as you notice this breath going in and out, bringing in life, exhaling what you don't need, bring your awareness also to your heart, your physical heart. And if you need to, you can place a hand over your heart and feel that beautiful rhythm, moving life force energy throughout your whole being. The heart that is strong. It knows exactly what it has to do. It doesn't shy away from its mission. Its function to bring in and to release, much like the breath, much like many of the systems within our body. For if anything stayed constant, we would surely cease. Everything revolves around bringing in and releasing, bringing in and releasing. Sometimes we bring in information and we release through tears. We release through our voice. We release through the physical sometimes. Continue to feel the rhythm of your heart and your breath. And now in this state, I want you to visualize a place that you feel absolutely safe in. This could be a place in your imagination or a place in physicality. But go there. See it in every detail. Allow your senses to take in all of it. And now, what I want you to do is take a look at a younger version of yourself. It could be the version you were yesterday, 5 minutes ago, or 50 years ago. But I want you to look at that person. And as you look at this person, give them a hug and thank them for coming along with you on this journey. Thank them for all the things that you've learned along the way, the things that you know now that maybe you didn't know 5 minutes ago, the person that you are now. You thank them for being a rest stop in your past. And you release them from having to continue in your present. Allow them to remain in your past. Because you've grown. You know more now. You feel more now. You've expanded your awareness as you continue to do so, just as the future version of yourself will thank you for everything you've been able to teach them today. Show gratitude and love and healing for that person who's standing before you. They went through all of those lessons, encountered all of those situations and all of those people so that you could be who you are right now. And maybe they don't know that it's time to let go because you have grown, you have healed, you have learned. So help them. Help them to release. It's okay to let things go now. They no longer serve your present. It's okay to bring in new experiences, new ideas, new people. It's okay. And with all the love in the world, I want you to hug this person even tighter. This person is you, but they are also your past. And as you continue to grow in the present, you help them to heal even more in the past. Bid farewell to this past version of you. Thank them for the lessons. Thank them for everybody that was involved in their reality in those lessons, whether you saw them as good or bad. They just were. And bring your awareness back into your body, back to the breath. And you may start wiggling your fingers and toes and opening your
I
eyes.
don't like that time, yeah.
All right. Yeah, let me just clear this up.
Yeah, me too. Excuse me, wow. That was deep.
Well, thank you for giving us a focus for that one.
That's our pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming into our chat today, giving us of your time and your energy and your
Oh,
beautiful gifts. And thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you too. Thanks everyone, and thank you, Tara. Yeah, I've thoroughly loved doing this tonight, and thanks for inviting me. That's so great. Thanks.
Well, yeah, and like Susie said, if you want to pop on with me again, I'd be more than happy. I don't mind slinging cards with you and chit chatting because this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I certainly would. Yeah, yeah, anytime. That'd be great. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, and I've enjoyed it too. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I really have. Yeah, nice.
Uh, Lisa or Susie said, "Beautiful Tara and Lisa, this was so much fun." She says, "Thank you for the chat." Um, People say cool, lots of hearts and giggles going on. So yeah, thank you guys for everybody who came into the chat today. Like I said, I'll watch the replay, but anybody who will watch this replay, definitely look at the chat. There was a lot of good stuff that was happening there. I know that Aurora was pulling cards for people, and there was a lot of messages going back and forth, a lot of laughter, a lot of healing. So definitely check out that chat. You guys are wonderful. And thank you to everybody who got a reading from Lisa and I. I really love doing like readings with other people. I just, I don't
Great
know, I
fun.
just love the energy of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, me too. Brilliant. I love that. Absolutely loved it.
so yeah, thank you guys. And we'll catch you later. Have a beautiful week. Peace, love, and
Thanks.
chicken grease. Peace out. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.